Well, hello everybody, this is Mr. Lee David Carter and I want to talk about another interesting subject. This is to do with the phalloplasty. Now the medical terms for phalloplasty is penis, okay? Now, I'm not a professional doctor, but I am a professional and I do have a degree. But I can just tell you from my research and my experiences with what I've been through, the process regarding the phalloplasty and basically just really how it all works. Now, you know, there's many, shall I say, this is just an outline of the procedure, the techniques that are used, and there's different, you know, it's different for everybody out there basically. For anybody in the UK or anyone around the world for that matter that's going through this. So I'm just going to go based on my experience and the research that's used and speaking to other people and basically, you know, creating the phallus, how it all works. So this is about the construction of the phalloplasty and how it works, okay? So there's the first stage. Firstly, there's a skin and fat taken as a donor from a part of the body to create the phallus. Once this is done, the urethra, which the surgeons do, is usually used from the forearm or the lower abdomen, but in my case it was used from the forearm and the buttocks. And as you can see here from the forearm, as I get really close up, you can see a scarring now. Although this was done years ago, you can see the scarring now, but you can't really see it from a distance. It's only when you're close up that you can see it. So there we go, you can see that there, yeah? So, that's what happens. We're doing that part on the first stage. And then after that, this was a 12-hour operation that I went through. So it's very complex. Anyone that's about to go through this as a trans man, always thinking about going through gender reassignment surgery, because I was born as Lisa to Lee. This is the process you've got to go through basically. So it's very complex. From now, the tissue, you know, it's in a discrete place. So in this case, when they do something like this, the phallus would be one square part of skin, and then there'll be a rectangular shape, which is the urethra side. So that skin graft is taken from the forearm, or it may be the abdomen, or from, in my case, it's taken from the buttocks, but you can't even see it, you know, because the place that's taken it from is very discreet, and you know, it's been years now, and the scarring, it's not even visible after a long time. The scarring just is hardly seeable, like to when it was when you first had it done. So there's a difference in size between the urethra and the phallus, basically. Now, once that's done, the donor skin, like, it's kind of like, it's rolled fat tissue. So it's into they roll it round into a phallus. This includes the artery and a nerve and the urethra. So it's rolled over like a sausage roll, which is really, really amazing how they've done this, the professional doctors. And, you know, looking back on my experience, they took two arteries, or a vein, not two arteries, and with that, you know, obviously it gives you the sensation within the phalloplasty, the penis, medical terms. They then cut a hole in the groin area, or the pubic mons, as they call it, to connect the phallus, basically. So the nerves and the arteries securely to the body. So if you look at the diagram here, you can see there's the phallus, then you've got the nerves, which is the arteries that gives you the sensation, and then you've got the urethra, which I've done it in like a different colour pen, that goes to urinate, that system. So it's very complex. looking at that, give you some idea how it's all done, the gender reassignment surgery. And then from now, when you've got the new urethra, which is the second op that I had, this is redirected to the hole, and at this point, this is based on where the phallus needs to be flushed out, in which they use a syringe basically, and or a liquid water solution, and you know, it's not you're not able to urinate, you're not able to pee, because at that point I was sort of walking around with a catheter, one at each side, one for 1 week and the other one for 2 weeks. So, you know, like I said, it's a very complex operation. Now, on the third operation, the urethra was hooked up, and then you've got the gland sculpting, and you've got the scrutoplasty, which is the hot balls. So the urethra is redirected in this case from the bladder to the end of the penis. So, like I said, it's a very complex operation, and the old urethra is closed. So the vagina was removed, and I chose to have it removed. It was my choice. This is called a vaginectomy. Okay, so everything's removed, and then they should I say, prepare for the scrutoplasty, which I mentioned on this morning's show, in the genital area, which is basically the creation of the scrotum, which is the hot balls. So they move the skin from the labia, and they sort of create a testicle set, which I mentioned on TV. And this is basically silicone, which, like, you know, like women, they have silicone when they have their breasts done. A lot of women have that. It's the same sort of thing, which I mentioned, and that is put into the scrotum. And then from that, the clitoris is buried, it's underneath the sac, you can't even see it, it's removed for many. So after that, they then create the head of the penis. Now, a strip of skin is removed from the tip of the phallus, and from there, this is folded underneath, and that creates the hem at the end of the phalloplasty, in the shape of a natal penis head, which men have. They have a natal penis head, the head at the back, the helmet as you call it. So the next operation is basically the erectile device. Now, I've had the erectile device fitted, and this is what you call a testicular implant. And I mentioned this on ITV this morning's show. It's an erectile device that's implanted in one of the scrotums, which is alongside the silicone testicle, which I mentioned. There are multiple devices out there basically that can be used, and this enables the penis to become erect, and through pumping the valve in the testicle, in the scrotum area, this gives you the erection that you need, you know, before intercourse and so forth. So you become fully functional through that. And basically there are a lot of men out there that are side-mount birth, and many have lost their penis due to infection or cancer, or it could be other issues whereby they may have been born with the male sex organ that hasn't grown properly to how it should be. So there's lots of issues around that where a lot of men out there have lost their penis. So it's the same process for anybody, doesn't matter who you are, that you have to go through in order to construct a phalloplasty penis, because many have lost their penis because of issues. So basically, yeah, that's the genital organs, so, you know, not growing properly. So the devices out there can be quite complex. However, it gives, should I say, gives you the penetration that you need, and you are functional. Like I said, it's a complex surgery, and all those thinking about going through this or about to go through this process, I suggest that you do your research, and it's more optional. You know, it's important to be prepared. You know, I did not experience any complications as such, but also you need to be prepared for that as well, just in case, because like anything in life and operations, there's always a risk involved. But from my experience and what I've been through, there's been no complications at all with anyone I've spoken to. So at the end of the day, it improved my self-image with regards to dysphoria, my confidence and my quality of life. So I'm going to sign off for now, all you YouTubers. Anyone out there thinking of the phalloplasty and how it works, this is how it works, that's the process that you go through. And I'll speak to you all soon. So keep a lookout for more updates and more podcasts. Love and light, namaste, speak to you all soon. Bye for now.